DJI Osmo Mobile 3 and 4 both have 4 core modes, and those modes are Follow, Tilt Locked, FPV, and SpinShot. There's also Locked Mode and Sport Mode, but these modes aren't accessed in the Mimo app, like the other 4 modes. Whether you have the 3 or the 4, they should work exactly the same, so if you own either of them, then this video is for you. Quite often, we can just mount our phone and start shooting. And if you just want that basic stabilization the gimbal gives you, that's fine. But these 4 modes open up a few extra creative opportunities. So in this video, I'll show you how to switch between them and how to get the most from them. Perhaps one of the weaknesses of these DJI gimbals is that you can't easily switch modes just by tapping a button on the gimbal. Instead, you need to use the Mimo app. So you tap the gimbal settings button on the left, and now you'll see these 4 modes open up. So just tap the one you want to select it. Follow mode is the default mode. Most likely you will use this mode most of the time, as it gives you the basic stabilization you need for most shots. So in this mode, the gimbal will follow your movement, but only on the pan and tilt axis. And if you pan left or right, the gimbal follows. And if you tilt, the gimbal follows. But if you roll, the gimbal does not follow. Instead, the gimbal keeps your smartphone level with the horizon. And that's why this is the most common mode, because if you want to shoot while walking or moving around, you usually want the camera to remain level. In tilt locked mode, the gimbal only follows your pan movements. And if you tilt the gimbal handle, it keeps the camera at the same tilt angle. So if I move the handle like this, you can see the camera keeps pointing ahead. So this is useful if you want to create a shot where the camera rises from or lowers to the ground. In this mode, you can create a shot like pros do with a jib arm or a crane. As I raise up the gimbal, the camera doesn't tilt, and you get this really nice crane-style shot. FPV stands for First Person View, and what this means is the gimbal is fully responsive to your movements, so it gives the impression that you are looking through the eyes of a person. All the movements will be followed, pan, tilt and roll. What the gimbal does here is to smooth out the motion, to make the shot feel more polished. So if I pan, it follows, if I tilt, it follows, and now, if I roll by twisting my wrist, the camera also follows. If we use this mode, we can get really creative with the movement of the shot. We can create the feeling of flying, perhaps, like we are in a small plane twisting and turning through the air. My advice is not to use this too much though, as you can make your audience feel a bit seasick. SpinShot mode is basically the same as FPV, except now you can control the roll of the camera using the joystick. Again, you can create some wild shots using this mode, but now you have a little more control over the roll movement. Like FPV mode, you can use this mode to get some cool cinematic B-roll shots, maybe for more exciting product shots, or for your travel videos. Just get creative. When I'm shooting these kind of shots, I try to add time at the beginning and at the end of the shot. That's because the smoothest part of the shot is often in the middle. It's the starting and stopping of the shot which usually has the most bumps in it. So you want to make sure you have enough of that middle part of the shot. Also try to make sure the middle part of the shot contains the most important footage. For example, if you're zooming in on a subject, start a bit further back than you need and keep going further than you need also. Now when you come to edit this shot, you can trim off the start and end sections, which are usually the more bobbly sections, and use the nice smooth middle section. Locked mode isn't in the list of gimbal modes in the app. Instead, you simply pull and hold the gimbal trigger, and now the position of the camera is locked no matter how you move. We can use this mode for the ultimate in stabilization. For example, we might be in a situation where we want the angle of the camera to remain fixed, no matter what. Like, say I want to create a shot flying over an object. To move around the object, I need to move my body, but I want the camera to keep the same angle. Another use for the locked mode is to put the gimbal into low position mode. In this mode, the gimbal handle points towards you, so it's good for filming low angle shots. So press and hold the trigger, lift the gimbal handle towards you, and now release the trigger. The gimbal is now in low position mode. When the gimbal is low, you can create some cool shots. When the camera is close to the ground, it makes it look like you're zooming along faster, so it really boosts the excitement generated by the shot. With the gimbal in low position mode, you might want to use a monopod or small tripod to fix to the handle of the gimbal. Now you can hold your gimbal low while you're walking and you'll get more control. And more control means a smoother shot. To switch to sport mode, double tap the trigger and hold. And while you're holding the trigger down, the gimbal will react faster. So rather than that smooth, elegant following motion, you get more of a kind of snap. So if you're filming some kind of sport, this mode allows you to keep up with the action easier. So that's it for this video. If you found it useful, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.